Hello and welcome to day 83 in this quest for a 2000 rapid rating on chess.com. So let's find an opponent and begin here as we wait. All right, here we go. E4 will respond with E5. So they attack, will defend, and it looks like the Italian game. Oh, the Evans Gambit. All right, well, we should accept, and then see, we'll retreat back, see what they do next. Well, it would probably be too risky to go after this pawn. Should we do that or not? I think well, we also have to watch out for pieces piling up on us over here. So, let's see. All right. This is another reason I'm thinking about switching to the Caro-Kann defense so I don't have to deal with as much of this craziness. If I bring my knight out here, it could be attacked. All right, should we do that? All right, I guess we're going for a crazy continuation here. I think now if he pushes forward and attacks my knight, I should push forward and attack his bishop. But I don't know, it looks like this game is going to be a mess here. At least they are thinking, trying to figure out, what to do here. And okay, so they do attack here. Let's move forward and attack their bishop. And I don't know, this game is starting to look pretty crazy. And now I'm not even sure if I'm playing the right continuation here, because they could attack my knight. I could take their bishop. Then the rook could come in here, checking me. I block with the bishop, but then I think their knight can come in here and attack. So I don't know, it just looks like a crazy mess. All right, so now they can either take my G pawn, and then I'll be forced to move my rook here like this. So now, what do? Bring their rook out? Okay, so they decide to do that instead. All right. Well, now I should develop my bishop. Now, do I pin the bishop? That is the question. Or excuse me, do I pin the knight with my bishop? There's also a threat of just moving forward here. All right, I should probably do that. And that prevents this pawn from pushing forward. Then maybe I can move my bishop down. Well, right now this bishop is doing a good job of keeping his rook in. And if I can get my queen developed, I might be able to castle on the queen side over here and find some safety. I don't know. These games just end up pretty wild and crazy, which is great if you're really good with tactics. But I don't know. I guess I'm more of a positional player, so I think I will try and make it to at least 100 games in this series, and then I may consider switching to the D4 opening with white, and then the Caro-Kann against E4. Instead of playing E5 here and winding up with all these crazy positions. Because I guess this started out kind of like a quiet game, the Giuoco Piano, and then turned into, I believe, an Evans Gambit. All right. So, at least they're thinking a long time on this, trying to figure out what to do. What are their options? Well, they could develop their bishop out, and attack my queen, but that would kind of help me develop that queen. So what should I do if they just develop their bishop and attack my queen? Well, then the queen should probably move forward. But where to? Do I move to D6? That seems like an okay move. Or do I go, I don't know if I want to go all the way up to D5, because at some point the knight could jump up there and attack me. Well, maybe I could go there, because then that would keep an eye on this E5 square here in case the knight tries to jump forward. But right now the knight is guarding this pawn. Now the bishop might go to this B2 square, protecting the pawn and eyeing this diagonal. Oh, okay, so they go that way. Interesting move here. Oh, because they might want to... They might want to take this diagonal. Oh, and protect their pawn. Now, do I just take this pawn, or do I develop my queen? Or do I go here? Now, why would they make this move here? Why would they make this move? To take control of this diagonal. Maybe they want to jump in here and protect the pawn. So, what should I do here? Do I go ahead and just pick off this? That seems to be the move that I should make, is to just pick off this rook. Pick off the rook. All right, we'll go ahead and do that. Or yeah, pick off the rook. Pick off the pawn with the rook. Now maybe it would have been a better idea to go ahead and bring my queen up. And get ready to castle. But at least now, I don't know, this bishop is off to the side. It is controlling this diagonal here. But what does his knight do? His knight can't go here. The knight could develop to here, to d2. Then I would have to decide whether to capture or not. And I could get ready, well, I could bring my queen up. Well, no, if the knight goes there, then I can go ahead. Oh, I have to be careful though. Yeah, I have to be careful that this queen doesn't move down to a4 here at some point. And then the rook moves here, threatening to push forward. All right, well, I'm thinking if I move the queen up to d5, oh yeah, that would be a good move. In case his queen moves and is not guarding the knight anymore, I could threaten to take the knight, and this pawn is pinned. So that could be a good move. Queen up to d5. And then from there I could swing over, maybe over to the queen side here at some point. All right, where will this queen go? All right, so the queen does jump over there. All right, what should we try next? Well, I would say centralize. We'll just centralize our knight. Or yeah, centralize our knight. Centralize our queen. I'm having a little trouble speaking today. I guess I'm so focused on this crazy game. So I centralize the queen. Now if they jump forward, it's a mate threat. So that is good for us. And we also have the threat, if he pushes this pawn forward, we could jump over here to h3. Well, first of all, if he pushes the pawn forward, we can just capture his knight. And then we can threaten to bring our bishop in here and threaten a mate. And we're getting ready to castle to the queen side and activate. All right, well, he made a mistake and we have a mate. All right, well, crazy game there. Let's do a game review and see what I missed. A lot of tactics going on in that. Oh my gosh. I played at a 97.2% accuracy. I didn't expect that because, I don't know, with that opening, I was kind of unsure if I was playing correctly or not. All right, well, I'll definitely take that. My opponent played at 64.7, so it'll be instructive to see, what mistakes they made and what went wrong. So I had one great move. Inaccuracies, we both had one inaccuracy, but my opponent had 3 mistakes. So let's take a look at those, see what they are. The computer says, way to go here. You took the advantage, then finished off your opponent when you saw your chance. So, start the game review. That was the Evans Gambit. And, okay, it looked like this was a good move here, moving this knight up. It was let's see, it says you activate your knight by moving. Okay, so we just developed our knight. I was worried about them attacking my knight with e5. Anyway, so they did that, but we were able to counterattack their bishop. Now, I was wondering, if they captured en passant, with e takes on d6 here, capturing that pawn, then what do? I guess we would capture with the queen. They might be able to check us, but then we could block with our bishop. Okay, anyway, we'll look at that in the analysis. So let's move on with this quick game review where it blasts through the moves. All right. Okay, that was a quick 14 move win there. So the computer says you really outplayed your opponent in that one. Your opponent had a good opening, but you were on another level. You dominated the middle game. Okay, so I played at they played at a 1300 level, and man, I played at 2250, but it was a short game. So a 97% accuracy rating in this 2250 level. That's a little easier to do when it's a short game, and especially if mistakes are made and the moves are, there are some moves that are, I guess, not forced, but they're more obvious. So like this, checkmate, of course, is an obvious move, but some of the other moves, anyway, let's take a look here. 97.5% opening accuracy, so they did good in the opening, but we played at 100%. Okay. 20.8 in the middle game. So they had problems in the middle game, and we played at 93.6. So, we didn't play perfect in the middle game. Let's see look at all these. Okay, yeah, I guess they had 3 mistakes and an inaccuracy there at the end. We did have 1 inaccuracy, so we'll have to take a look at that. D5 was a great move in the beginning. Okay, back to the beginning. Let's see if there's anything we can learn here. And let's see what the opponent did wrong. So e4, e5. So I'm thinking about, I'm going to try and make it at least to day 100 in this series before I switch opening repertoires. But I'm thinking about going to c6 maybe. because as I get higher, and because it looks like I made it up to well, after this win, it looks like I'm already above 1650 at 1655, and I'll have to see what I went up to after the win of this game. But anyway, as I climb higher, I want to try and play more solid games and cut out some of these crazy wild games. You can never completely eliminate wild crazy tactics if your opponent is set on doing them, but you can at least minimize. The Caro-Kann might be a safer opening, especially as I play tougher opponents in the future. And then I may switch to d4 with white, and that eliminates some of the options. Because if you play e4, black does have a lot of options in response. Okay, moving along here. e4, e5. They attack my pawn, and I defend with the knight. So they play bishop to c4, the Italian game, which we've seen quite a bit in this series. And if you haven't been checking out the Candidates chess tournament that's ongoing now, I highly recommend that. Today is the 13th round, and tomorrow is the final round. And the winner will be the challenger in the World Chess Championship later this year. And as of round 12, there was a three-way tie, so check that out. And they played some Italian game openings in that Candidates tournament, so worth checking out to see how the best players in the world play this opening. Obviously they have a better knowledge and understanding of the Italian game than what average players have. So the Giuoco Piano game, so the quiet game in the Italian game here, which this is supposed to be more quiet, but we have the Evans Gambit pushing this b4 pawn. So the best thing to do, according to the computer here, is to just capture that pawn. If you don't capture that, let's say, I don't know, you retreat the bishop, I guess they could push forward here and attack your knight. Then you have to retreat the knight, or move it forward, I guess, is a possibility as well. But according to the computer, the best move is to capture the pawn. So you go up in material. But why did white do this? Why did white give away this pawn? Well, it's to allow allow white to push his c pawn. Now you have to retreat. So we retreat the bishop, and they play d4. So now they're able to play d4 and back up this d4 move with this pawn. But at the moment, this pawn is pinned. So it looks like capturing the pawn is the best option here, which we do. And now white's best move is to castle, because this white pawn here is pinned to the king. So now I was surprised. I thought, well, let's see what they did first here. So I played knight to f6, which is the third best move. It looks like the computer actually likes knight to e7 better here. Interesting choice. Knight at g to e7. So I definitely have to take another look at this in my opening repertoire and see if knight to f6 was the move I should have played, or if I should have played this knight at g to e7. I even considered playing d3, but I wanted to move this knight out because I was kind of worried about the possibility of the knight jumping forward along with the bishop targeting this f pawn here. And once that knight moves forward, the queen could possibly jump into the game, and cause problems as well. So I'll definitely have to take a look at that. But in the game, I played Well, before I go on, since this is a short game and it shouldn't take too long to go through the rest of these moves, let's see. We'll take a look at this move. Knight at G to E7. Well, then the top move is, of course, piling up on that F pawn. But now what should you do? It looks like D5, attacking the bishop. Now here, capturing with the pawn and attacking the knight is best. So, what now? Knight up to E5, attacking the bishop here. So, oh man, queen takes D4. And what now? F6. So you protect the knight. And I'm a little surprised, they didn't just capture the bishop here, get rid of the bishop pair. But maybe, here you're attacking. Oh, it also says to just play knight over to G6 now. Now it's saying that would have been the best move. But if we continue on here, they want rook to E1, piling up on the knight. And then what? Bishop to B6, attacking the queen. So something like this. Rook moves here. We attack the queen. The queen goes where? Over to H4. So now, of course, you do not want to castle because there would be, let's see, a mate here on H7. So now you should play what? Bishop to F5. Yeah, so just a lot of craziness in these different variations. So what else? After they castled, what was the other option? D3. So let's see what they say about D3. Or excuse me. D3. Okay, I do remember seeing this maybe in a book or somewhere where they talked about this D3 move. And then it looks like the best option now is to just line up on this F pawn. So queen to F6 here, E5. So again, another crazy attack. You'd have to move over here. Man, and actually they want you to go here. Now what? Bishop to A3, preventing you from castling over here. Rook to B8, which, I don't know, that's an interesting move. Rook to, but once again, you see how crazy this can be. I won't dig too deep into this, so we can just continue on. So let's go back here. Now the computer is just recalculating things. It says that knight at G to E7, the first variation that I went over, it looks like that should be played. But in the game, we played knight to F6, which is still a book move. So now it looks like E5 is best, attacking this knight. And now D5, counterattacking the bishop, is the best move. So, which I kind of remembered that move from some other, either playing this before or playing some similar variations to this. So now the best thing for white to do is just go ahead and capture, which they did. So capture my knight. Then we go ahead, capture their bishop, and now looks like best, and it keeps the game even. Although, up here they're saying that after D takes C4, black is ahead by a pretty good bit here because we've gotten rid of their bishop pair and we still have ours. So they capture, and we're ahead of pawn. So they capture. Now we can't castle kingside. The best move here is rook to g8. And now rook to e1. It looks like that is the best move, and that's what I was expecting. So they should have played rook to e1, checking. And then, we have to play bishop to e6 here. And then I thought, well, man, now can they jump their knight down here and threaten to grab the bishop? And my king will just be stuck in the opening or in the open here. But knight to g5 is the second best move because then it says that we should just play queen up to f6, guarding the bishop in case they try and capture, and then we have to recapture with the pawn. And then, oh man, then the king is probably going to come under check. It looks pretty crazy. So, after bishop to e6, the best move is this, attacking the queen. So I was kind of keeping an eye on this move as well during the game, thinking, oh man, is he going to bring his bishop down, attack my queen, and then queen up into the center, centralizing the queen would be best here. So now it looks like knight at b to d2 would be best. All right. So the best move, knight at b to d2. And then what? Rook captures. So we just go ahead and capture here. Attacking this bishop. Although the bishop is protected at the moment, but we're lining up on the king. And we can't even castle here. So because of that bishop. Now knight to what? Knight to e4 is best. Just jumping that knight up into the center. And what is the threat here? Well, the knight is protecting this pawn. So, that's one of the main benefits I see here is preventing the bishop from forking these two pieces here, the two rooks. So here we should play what? Rook up to g6. Like that. I guess that helps guard. Oh, and, well, that could threaten to bring a pawn forward and attack the bishop. Oh, all right. I overlooked that. See, that's why these openings, when they get crazy like this, you have to look out for all the tactics. Rook to g6 prevents this knight from forking the king and the queen. So, why wouldn't you do that right now? I guess you don't want to do that now because the rook can capture. And if the bishop recaptures, well, then you can capture up here and fork the two rooks. So just a lot of craziness going on. It looks like that is the best move. Well, now you're attacking here. And, well, you can go ahead and capture. But the fork is in play. Oh, my gosh. This is the best move, is to capture. But now we have the fork of the king and the queen. Yeah, just crazy options in this game. So, it's fun to watch these, but these can be very difficult to play with all these tactics. And that's why I think in the future I will move to the Caro-Kann, which is a more solid defensive opening, and it cuts out some of these crazy variations that you get in e4, e5 openings. All right, so knight to f6. But if you are starting out, if you're a chess beginner, I would recommend playing these crazy openings so you can improve your tactics and get used to seeing tactics. Especially when you're starting out, you need to work on your tactics. All right. So the fork is in play. What do we do? King to e7. It looks like that is best. King to e7. Then the knight captures our queen, of course. Oh my gosh. Then rook captures. And now what? Queen over to b1 or c1, which, oh, I guess they are, worried about this fork. But what is the material at? Oh, this is crazy. The material is only +1 for black now. Even though, we lost our queen, but, what do we have in return for that queen? So right now, we have 2 rooks. We're even with that. And then, let's see, we have a knight. So we have the bishop pair. And what do we have as far as pawns? 5, 7 pawns. So the bishop pair and 2 pawns. And it's saying the game is even here, but I don't. And we have a threat here, the threat of forking these 2, capturing this pawn and forking the 2 rooks. So if we capture here, that would allow us to pick off their rook. So anyway, queen to b1 is what they recommend. Oh man. Yeah, that would be crazy. Queen to b1 threatens to capture here and attack the rook and the knight. So if the queen moved to b1, targeting this b7 pawn, our best option would be bringing the king up here to the center, protecting our knight. So if the queen captured here, we could just counterattack. But, let's look at just, actually, this right here, rook to c1. What do you do here? Do you pick off this pawn? Now they're saying to go after this. Rook at a to d8, just doubling up the rooks here. You could even, it doesn't even like that move. All right, well, I'm not going to just dig into more of these crazy sidelines. You can check all this out on your own. I'll go back to the beginning and just zip through these so we can get back to where we were. So we have e4, e5, knight to f3 attacking the pawn. We defend. The bishop develops. We develop our bishop. And then the Evans Gambit attacking our bishop. So we capture. They attack. We retreat. They grab the big pawn center here in the middle. We try and knock out one of those pawns. This one cannot capture because the bishop is pinning that pawn to the king. So they castle here. Now, it looks like knight at g to e7 is what the computer wanted us to play. But we move our knight forward. But this allows some craziness to begin. They attack. We counterattack their bishop. So they're attacking our knight. We're attacking their bishop. They take our knight, which is best. We capture their bishop, also the best move. So here, they capture the pawn, which is best, forcing us to move our rook. Now we're attacking that pawn, but our king is wide open here. So in the game, we had what? Capture in the center here, which kind of activated my bishop more. So they wanted to keep the material even. I assume that's why they captured in that manner. So they capture, but now they can't develop this rook over here. They should have tried to put that rook on the center and started an attack on our king. But c takes d4. We develop here. Now this was my one inaccuracy. What did it like instead of that? Um, queen to d5. So let's take a quick look at that. Now, why is that a better move? Well, it centralizes the queen, which prevents the knight from jumping forward and possibly causing problems. What else? Well, it gives our bishop the option of not moving here, but maybe pinning the knight. So we could threaten to pin the knight, then maybe capture. Then if the queen recaptured, well, then we could capture the queen and break their pawns up, and then we could check, capture here with a check. So, interesting option if we went that direction. So let's see here. The computer recommends bishop to h6 here as the best move, just protecting this pawn. All right. Well, then we should go and play. Well, now they want the e6 move to block this open file here. And now what? Queen to c1. All right. Well, that attacks this pawn, but it backs up the bishop, creating a battery, and the queen could possibly move down here, attacking our queen and preventing us from castling. So here they do recommend immediately castling, and then knight, we're up to c3. Okay, that's another advantage of putting the queen here, because now if we capture, the queen can recapture. And they do want us to capture here. Get rid of that knight. The queen should recapture. Oh, now they're saying we should have moved our queen to f5, because that does give up the bishop pair, and the computer usually does not like it when we give up the bishop pair like this. But black would be ahead here by a pawn's worth of material, even though the material is actually even. We have a little more control of the center here. What now? Bishop to g4 is recommended. So starting some kind of an attack here on the knight, trying to break open the king side. But if we go back and look at that other move, queen. So once I moved here, it wanted queen to f5. Okay, let's take a look at that. Queen to f5. What does that do? Well, it prevents the knight from jumping forward here. Although we were doing that from d5. It guards this pawn. And oh, maybe it prevents the queen from moving over here, trying to line up for a attack down on the b file. But the rook could still move here, and then the queen. And if we drop back, the knight could attack us. Okay, so once again, a lot of stuff going on there. Let's go back to what happened in the game. So at this point, they captured the pawn. We move our rook. They captured in the center here, which was a mistake. And this was an inaccurate move here, centralizing this bishop. But I don't think it's too bad. Black is still ahead after that move. I don't know. I see one advantage. I was thinking they could immediately move here and target the bishop and this pawn at the same time. Okay. So, but that's only, well, they don't even have that move recommended there. All right, we might take a quick look at that. So, what if they played that next? they played that, what do we do? Well, now it says saying bishop to d2 would have been best, getting rid of this bishop, but this is a mistake. Knight to g5. Why? The best move looks to be this, lining up here, threatening a mate. So if they capture here, we would recapture, and we're getting ready to pick this pawn off and threaten a mate here. And now queen to g4 is best, preventing this from being captured. Oh, now they want this move. They want the actual queen moving all the way over here and attacking. So we should go ahead and castle. Now we have another rook that we can pile up and attack here. And the king should move over and then maybe allow the rook to guard this pawn. All right. Well, in the game, bishop to a3 was played. So that was after I make this inaccuracy. They jumped up to a3 here. And what does this do? Well, maybe they want to come all the way down here and protect this pawn and lock in my rook, which would be pretty rough, I guess. So maybe that was their plan, to move all the way down here and trap my rook in. Huh. All right, but that was a mistake. They should have went bishop to g5, attacking my queen instead. So if that happened, the recommendation is to once again centralize the queen. Then what? Bishop to f6, going this way and protecting. But then we could just play queen to f5, attacking here. And what should they do? Oh man, they recommend d5. Huh. Pushing the pawn. And then what? We should capture. And they will capture, of course. And now rook to d8, attacking the queen. Which, I don't know, that allows them to capture here and check you. So if they... All right. If we move here and attack their queen, then their recommendation is to block by bringing the knight in. All right, so once again, just a lot of stuff to look out for. So rook to d8 is the top recommended move. So I don't know, I guess I could take a quick look at that. Rook to d8, they really like that move. If they capture here, then the king moves over and captures. But the top recommended move is that. Then we should capture their pawn, capturing towards the center. And then queen up to e2, lining up on our king, targeting the pawn, and maybe getting ready to bring the rook over. So now bishop captures on d2, or queen captures, threatening a mate here. Oh man, yeah, that would be nuts. If you do that, the king is going to jump in here and attack. Then the knight would have to block. Yeah, so more insanity. Yeah, man, so this is a good reason to study tactics. So definitely study your tactics to practice all this, because some chess games can just spin out of control and have crazy tactics going on all over the place. All right, so let's finish this up before I dig too crazily into all these lines, which I've already done. Bishop to a3 was played. We go ahead and capture, which the computer likes that best. And now queen to a4, pinning the knight. maybe targeting this bishop. So if our knight moves, there'll be the capture of the bishop possibility. Computer doesn't like this move though. It's saying d5 would have been better. So once again, just pushing in the center, pushing that pawn, and then we should capture. And then that's a possible queen trade that could happen there. Moving forward, we capture. And then bishop to b2 is what it likes best. Lining up on our rook. Ooh. Okay, line up on the rook. Then we should drop the rook back. So dropping back. Oh no, going forward it actually likes that because this bishop could land up here maybe and prevent us from castling. That's one possibility. But now they want knight to c3, attacking our queen. So anyway, that gives you an idea of some other variations, what the computer wanted to see. But queen to a4 is played. So then we played queen to d5, which the computer says is best, because now we're pinning the knight to this g pawn here, threatening a mate. So, crazy stuff going on here. And obviously they didn't see it. They played knight to e5, allowing the mate. Queen captures. So what should they have done? Knight to h4. They like that the best. Knight to h4. G3, it's saying, and that just lets us capture the knight. So, I don't know. I thought the queen would drop back and protect this knight. But then we would be able to... Oh man, yeah, it's looking bad. Then we would be able to pin the knight to the queen. Man, yeah, okay, so it's saying g3, just let us capture the knight, and then we would just be winning with material. Knight to h4 is what the computer just said was best. So that guards here. But now what do we do? Queen to e4, attacking the knight. Man, or we could just pick off this pawn, and then we're targeting this rook that's trapped here. They like castling queenside. What if... What if we threaten to go here? Does that even work? Oh, maybe they could block, but what about that move? Does that even do anything? Let's take a look at that. Bishop to h3. Oh, now they're saying that that would be the best response. What can they do? Because now we have a rook, queen, bishop all lining up here, and the knight and the king are the only ones protecting. So, we're threatening. Oh, man. Holy cow. Yeah, we're threatening a mate here. So, they should play g3. Then what? Well, now, rook to g4. We threaten to just pick off this knight. So we go after the knight. Now, queen captures here. Is that saying there's a better move? Better would have been to just block, giving up the knight here. But then you want to capture. So the threat is, I don't know, the power of the bishop is renewed. We're preventing a check here. So now F3, attacking. Here we should just go ahead and capture on A1. It says that is best. So capture. You get the idea. We won't have an immediate mate here, but instead we're just picking off material, and this king's position is starting to be broken open. They do have I guess they could check us here with the rook, but we could just move over king up to D7 here. And now we have a threat of capturing this pawn and delivering a check, not quite a mate here. But yeah, it's just looking really bad for them. Okay, let's wrap this up here. So how did the game end? The knight jumped forward and we were able to deliver the mate up here. So interesting, quick, only 14 move game. So, hopefully all of you out there are able to have some interesting games like this and get some quick checkmates against your own opponent. Well, I guess I'll wrap it up. Please like and subscribe for those that haven't already. Feel free to leave comments, questions, any requests for future videos. And also be sure to check out the candidates tournament. And I've been posting some videos on some of the games that happened in the candidates tournament. So you can check those out. And just let me know what you would like to see in the future. Thank you for watching and have a super chess day.